Today we are going to see how to maintain or how to do a partograph. See, actually partograph means it's a graphical representation of all the events which are taking place during the process of labor. So all the events we are recording in a sheet of paper, and that sheet we are calling as a partogram. And it includes the well-being of the fetus, well-being of the mother, and progress of the labor. And if you are looking into the partograph, I have told you that it's a single sheet of paper. In that, patient information, basic information of the patient will be there. That is name, gravida, parity of the mother. Gravida means number of pregnancy, parity means number of delivery, hospital number of the mother, date and time of admission, and time required for the rupture of membranes. That is when it has ruptured and how many hours are over after the rupture of membrane. All these details will be there in the basic patient information. See, already I have told you that it's a single sheet of paper, and this is that sheet of paper, and it is having patient information, fetal information, labor information, and maternal information. So in the patient information, already I have told you that you are having space for writing the name, parity, gravida, parity, hospital number, date of admission, time of admission, and rupture of membranes. That is how many hours back it has occurred. So these are the basic patient information that you are supposed to write in the partograph. Next section is for the fetal information. Up to here, this first section, then this second section. The second splitting, I hope you can see over here. So these two sections are there for the fetal information. And the first section shows the fetal heart rate. Here in one side, it is written as fetal heart rate, and the markings over here varies from 80 to 200. So whenever you are assessing the fetal heart rate, how much you are getting, you just mark it with a small into mark over here. And it is better to mark it with the red ink. And these into marks, whenever you are marking, whenever you are assessing the fetal heart rate, that into marks, you can just connect together by a line. So you will be getting a graph like this. So this represents the fetal heart rate. And next one is here you can see that it is written as CCC, that is amniotic fluid. So the condition of the amniotic fluid explanation I will give you later. In this column, you have to write the condition of the amniotic fluid. And down you can see just near down to the amniotic fluid, molding one section is there, and there you are supposed to mark the molding. Explanations again I will be giving to you. And next one is labor information, that is this portion, this third split, it is for the dilatation and for the descent of the fetal head. So in the down you can see the time. When you are doing it, you have to mark the time. Here it is marked as 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11, 12, 30, like that it is written. And hours of labor, that is 1 hour, 2 hour, when it has started, the labor pain, when it has started, from that moment onwards, you have to start the hours of labor, or you have to count the hours of labor. For example, if the woman got the first stage at 9 a.m., the 9 a.m. will be the first hour, 10 a.m. will be the second hour, 11 a.m. will be the third hour. So it is written here. And next one is descent of the head, and the descent of the head you are supposed to mark by a small circle. See, this line shows the descent of the head. Here one circle you can see, here also one circle is there, and here you can see at the side 0 to 10. This graph, it is given as 0 to 10 hours is given. Here the 5 you are taking as the station 0, and at 9 o'clock when you are assessing, here see it is marked, the small circle is marked at 3. So that means the station was plus 3 at 9 a.m. Okay, so there you are supposed to mark. Again, you didn't assess the descent of the head. That means you didn't do the vaginal examination. Again, you have done the vaginal examination at 1 o'clock, that is at 6th hour. That time it was, that is, if it is plus 3. See, already I have told you that if for your easiness, what you can do means, here just with the pen you can mark 5 as 0, then plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5. Like that you can mark here. In the same way, upward you can mark minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. So this 10 will be corresponding to the minus 5, and this shows that the head is not at engaged, it is above the inlet. And if it is 0, that is if it is plus 5, here plus 5 will be corresponding to the 0, and that shows, if it is plus 5, that shows that head has delivered, or the head came to the outlet of the pelvis. So that time again at 1 o'clock when we have assessed, here you just see it was marked that this 0, that means here plus 5. So this is the way to represent the descent of the head. Next, here we can see an alert line and an action line. See, this alert line shows the dilatation of cervix. If it is occurring 1 centimeter in an hour, the graph will be above the alert line, so it is normal. And if it is falling, that is 4 hours, if it is taking minimum 4 hours for 1 centimeter dilatation, that will be coming under the that will be coming below the action line. So immediately you are supposed to take the action. So the dilatation of the cervix, when you are drawing, if it is falling below the action line, it is dangerous. It shows the bad outcome of the labor, and if it is above this, it shows the positive outcome of the labor. So at 4 hour difference will be there between the action line and the alert line. So cervical dilatation, the same 0 to 10 you can use. So at 9 o'clock, that is at the first hour, when, as per this picture, when I have marked, when I have done the vaginal examination, the cervical dilatation was here. You can see a small Hindu mark, you just see, and again another small Hindu mark is there here also. So the descent I have told you that you have to mark with a circle, and the dilatation you are supposed to mark with an Hindu mark, small Hindu mark, and that time the dilatation was 5 centimeter. This is corresponding to 5. So at 9 o'clock it was 5 centimeter. Again the second vaginal examination I have done at 1 o'clock, that is 13 hours, 6 hours total duration of labor. That time it was 10 centimeter dilated, that is the cervix was fully dilated at that time. Okay, so this is the way of, so whenever, if for example if you are doing the assessment, or if you are checking the dilatation and descent at 11 o'clock, and sometimes you may be getting, if you assume that you are getting 7, so you have to put them into mark corresponding to the time. So here 11 o'clock, this graph, here 7, this will be the point. So that is the way of writing the, marking the dilatation of the cervix. Okay, and this section, this column, this square is for the contraction, or marking the uterine contractions which are occurring in 10 minutes. How many contractions are occurring in 10 minutes? Here it is written as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here you can see contractions in 10 minutes. So what you are supposed to do means, you are supposed to be there with the mother for 10 minutes, and continuously you have to watch for the 10 minutes, and you need to have a watch also, or a timekeeper. Then a timer also should be there. Then even when the mother is getting contraction, you should see for how many seconds it is lasting. If it is lasting for less than 20 seconds, you have to, that explanation I will be giving to you. So whenever you are getting a contraction, you have to see for how many seconds it is lasting, and on the basis of that you have to mark. And like that, you should see how many contractions you are getting in 10 minutes. For example, when you are, if you are checking at 9 a.m., 9 to 9:10 a.m. you are checking, and hope you got 4 contractions. So that 4 contractions you will be marking in the same column. See, same column. And again at 11 o'clock if you are checking, and if you are getting another 4 contraction, means you have to mark at 11. See, this column completely you have to mark. So first contraction, in case if you are getting 5 contraction, this full column will be full. So see how many contractions you are getting in 10 minutes, and mark those contractions in this column. And next one is oxytocin in unit, drops per ml, that you have to mark over here. How many units of oxytocin you have given to the mother. So if you have given 5 international units, you can write 5 international units, and down you can write how many drops are going, and how it contains how many units of oxytocin per ml, that you can write in the second column. And the down, if any other drugs you have given, this column is for that you have given to the mother, that should be that you are supposed to write over here. And you should write the amount of IV fluid introduced. If you have given 500 ml of ringer lactate solution, write here 500 RL. Okay, then next section is maternal information. So this, here you can see 60 to 180. This is for the blood pressure of the mother. So blood pressure, assume that here I have checked and the blood pressure was 80 to 120. So that you can mark by an arrow mark. See, the 80 will be the down portion of the arrow mark and 120 will be the upper portion. So here again I have checked and it was 130, 80. So 80, 130, that arrow mark. So these arrow marks are showing the blood pressure of the mother, and same you have to check the pulse rate also, and the pulse rate you can mark by a dark dot, and whenever you are checking the pulse rate, dot will be there. Finally you can mark this, you can join these dots together, so you will get a graph of the maternal pulse rate also. And down you can see the temperature. When you are assessing the temperature, how much you are getting, that in centigrade you can write over here. If it is 37 or if it is 38, that you can write in the particular column. And whenever the mother is passing the urine, you should see the urine for the volume, acetone, and for the protein. And if it is present, you should write over here, and the volume, if it is 200 ml, 200 ml you have to write. Okay, this is the overall view of the partograph. Once again, I will give the explanation section by section. So the first section was condition of the fetus. So the fetal heart rate, every half an hour you have to check and you have to mark it on that graph. And next one is membranes and liquor. If the membranes are ruptured, you have to see the condition of the amniotic fluid, and if the membranes are not ruptured, you can mark in that membranes amniotic fluid column, you can mark as I, that is intact, and if it is absent, you can mark as A. And if the membranes are ruptured and if the amniotic fluid is clear, you can mark it as C. And if the membrane is ruptured and if it is green colored amniotic fluid, you know that it will be because of the meconium stained, so you can mark it as M. And if blood stained or if blood is there in the amniotic fluid, you can mark B. So in the amniotic fluid, these are the things you can mark. And next column down to that, if you are remembering, if you are just looking back to the partogram, you can see that the next column is for the molding of the fetal head. And if the fetal skull bones are separated, if it has not met together, you can mark it as 0. And if it is just touching, mark it as plus. That is, in that column you just put 1 plus mark. And if the bones are overlapped, put 2 plus mark in the same single column. And if it is severely overlapped, you are supposed to put 3 plus marks in the column. And next one is CTG. Actually, CTG was not there in the partograph, but I am just giving it to give an outline about the contractions, maternal contractions, and the relation between the fetal heart rate. So that is uterine contractions and fetal heart rate. You will be getting an idea about that if you are looking into this CTG, cardiotochogram. So you can use either this way, or you can use a simple Doppler, and manually you can assess the heart rate of the mother. That is another heart rate of the baby. That is one way. Otherwise, you can attach the mother to a CT cardiotocograph, and the uterine contractions also will be marked, and the fetal heart rate in response to the contractions also will be marked, and you will get a graph like this. And here this graph, this line indicates a uterine contraction and this line indicates a fetal heart rate. And here you just see the uterine contraction has occurred. So in response to the uterine contraction, there is a variation of fetal heart rate around 15 beats per minute variation. That is, acceleration of the fetal heart rate is there. Again, here we got another uterine contraction. Again, there is an acceleration of high peak of uterine contraction of greater than 15 beats per minute. This is the normal CTG. So this is the normal CTG, and here you just see, here one uterine contraction has occurred, but there is no acceleration in the fetal heart rate. It is moving almost same. This is abnormal. And in case if the graph is like this, here the uterine contraction has occurred, immediately after few seconds there is a deceleration or reduction in the fetal heart rate. This is also abnormal. But this is not a part of partograph. I have just explained it. That's all. Next, we can go to the progress of labor. How to see the cervical dilatation in centimeter in every vaginal examination, and you have to plot it with an into mark. In active phase, you have to mark it in active phase. That is, if it is before 4 centimeter dilatation of the cervix, you have to mark in active phase. If it is after 4 centimeter dilatation of the cervix, you have to mark in action phase. Then alert line and action line is there, already you have seen. And if it is alert line, it will, that is, you will be getting 1 hour in 1 centimeter dilatation in 1 hour, and the action line is drawn 4 hour right to the alert line. And if the graph is, that is, if the cervical dilatation graph is falling to the action line, immediate action should take place. And next is descent of the fetal head. Already I have told you, you have to mark it with O or 0. The amount of head palpable above the pelvic brim and position should be marked, and you have to mark it over there. So I have explained how to mark it already. Next one is uterine contraction. Every half an hour you have to see the uterine contraction, and I told you that you have to count it for 10 minutes, and you have to should see the duration and intensity of the uterine contraction. And if the duration, or if one contraction is lasting for less than 20 seconds, we are calling it as a weak contraction, and it should be marked in stippled, that is in dot. You can mark that column like this. You can put dots in that column. See, you are assessing the mother for 10 minutes and assume that in the first contraction you got a weak contraction, that is, it was lasting only for 20 seconds or less than 20 seconds. In that case, you have to mark like this. And the next contraction, assume that it was lasting for around 30 seconds. That is, if the variation is between, or if the uterine contraction is lasting between 20 to 40 seconds, you can mark like this. You can put stripes in that column. Okay, so that is a moderate contraction. And if the contraction, if a single contraction is lasting for more than 40 seconds, you have to shade that area fully. So like this, you have to see how many contractions she is getting and what is the feature of contraction, or whether it is a mild contraction or moderate contraction or severe contraction, strong contraction, that you should see, and you should shade the columns accordingly. Sometimes, usually the mother will get 3 to 4 contractions in 10 minutes towards the end of the labor, and towards the end of the second stage of labor, she will be getting strong contractions also. She may get 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 strong contractions. So the graph will be fully dark. Next, recording the progress of the labor. That is, when you are recording the progress of the labor, mainly we are assessing the cervical dilatation and effacement of the dilatation and effacement of the cervix, and we are checking the descent of the fetal head. And this cervical dilatation you can do every 2 hours, but actually if you are restricting the number of or reducing the number of cervical examination or vaginal examination, it is good, because there is a chance for infection if you are performing repeated vaginal examination. Next is condition of the mother. In that you can see the oxytocin, how many units of oxytocin you have given in 30 minutes, that should be written over there, and drugs, if any other thing you have given, that should be plotted over there, that I have explained. And IV fluids, if it is there, that should be written in the corresponding column. And the blood pressure of the mother you have to check every 4 hourly, and you have to mark in arrows. And pulse rate of the mother you have to check every 30 minutes, and you can mark it with a dot. And temperature you can check every 2 hourly, and you can write it exactly over there. And the urine, whenever the mother is passing the urine, you should see the urine for the volume, albumin, and for the presence of ketone. So here you can see the partograph. See, assume that here I have checked the pulse rate of the baby, and I got fetal heart rate, I put 120, so that 120 I have to mark. So here I have marked 120. Then again liquor I have checked and it was clear, so you have to mark C over here. You have to put C. You have to put a small c over here. It should be small, actually I'm not able to put a small c with that. And when I have checked the molding, it was just touching together, so I have to put one cross mark. Only one cross mark will be there. If it is severely molded, 2 or 3, severe molding means 3 cross marks you have to put in the same column. Okay, the next one is assume that at 9 o'clock the person came to the hospital. So I have to write 9 over here, and that was the first hour. The patient got contraction same time she came to the hospital, so that is the first hour. So 1 is here. And at 9 a.m. I have checked the descent I have done a vaginal examination and I got the descent as 0. The station was 0. So you have to put a small circle over here. So if you want, you can write 0, 0 plus 1 plus 1. So if I am writing, it will become a bigger size if the graph is small. So like that you have to write up to plus 5. So this is plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5. So if you are going upward, this is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. Okay. So I got 0 station and assume that the dilatation was 4 centimeter. 4 centimeter means we know that it is in the active phase. So you have to mark it over here. Again, you can write the same 9 o'clock over here and you can mark the 4 centimeter. You have to mark as an into line. So what you can do means here also you have to mark, that is 4 centimeter dilatation was there here, and you can show the transition in dotted lines. So it has transferred to the active phase. Okay, 9 o'clock it was 4 centimeter and it has transferred to the active phase in dotted line. It was difficult for me to plot with dotted line, so I have shown like this. Again, whenever you are checking the dilatation and descent, you can mark like this. And these marks you should mark together, these graphs. For example, again at 11 o'clock I have checked and I got again 0 as the station, means you have to mark here, and these two graphs 0 and this you have to mark together. So this is the way. And contractions also same. Assume that I have checked at 9 o'clock and I got a weak contraction. So what should do? I have to mark with dots. And if again 9:05 I got a median contraction, I have to mark with the lines. Then again at 9:07 I got a severe contraction, means I have to shade that column fully. Okay, that's the way. Next, oxytocin, how many units you can write over here, and if you are giving 10 drops per ml in a minute, that you can write over here. And if you have given 500 ml of normal saline RL, you can write 500 ml right over here. And the pulse rate you can mark with red, and temperature also you have to write here. And if protein is there, means you have to write it. Acetone is there, means you have to write. And the amount of urine, 500 ml, 200 ml, that you are supposed to write. And here you just see the WHO partogram. Here they have given removed the latent phase, so it is starting from the active phase, that is from the 4 centimeter dilatation of the cervix. So it is easy for you. Only you just see if whether the cervix is 4 centimeter dilated, and from that time onwards you can start to mark the partogram. So assume that at 9 o'clock you have seen a mother. So the time is 9. You have seen a mother with the 5 centimeter dilatation. So mark 5 centimeter. Put an into mark over here. Okay. And the same time the descent of the head was plus 2. This is 0. This is plus 1. This is plus 2. This way is plus 3, plus 4, plus 5. So this is the way. And next again, when if you are checking at 10 o'clock, or assume that you are checking at 11 o'clock. 9, 10, 11. Okay. You have to mark over here. Then 11. Assume that you got 8 centimeter dilatation of the cervix. You will be marking 8 centimeter here. And these two things you have to connect together. Okay. And here at 11 o'clock, assume you got plus 4 as the station. Okay, this is the station. And these two things also you have to connect together. So this is a way of plotting dilatation and descent of the head. So I got you, now you are having a clear picture about the partogram. Thank you for watching this video.